I lost you on the pause. Okay, Wicked Edge went from this base, which was a multi-part base that had a separate vise, a separate mount, a separate square bar, separate guide rod end brackets and guide rods. Everything was separate, and then not on, despite all that, this mounted from underneath. So whatever you wanted to mount it on, you had to template it to put the through holes to get everything to line up. So that was fine, but it was unique to this base that it had that kind of mount. Whereas after that, Wicked Edge went to a solid machine base that the vise mounts separate. No more square bar because everything slides. The delineations are here in the center and everything slides, and it's very small and compact. It attaches from the top and you can mount it down. You can take it loose. It came originally the Wii 50 or Wii Go. It even came dismantled in a roll pouch. So they went to that new design, but the problem for me, I learned when I started with this and I added the riser block that it raised it, and then subsequently Wicked Edge came out with the Wicked Edge 130 or the Gen 3 Pro twist cam vise that was even taller. So then they went to the longest of the square bars because you're working that triangle, as I keep trying to explain, that when we get bigger, we spread out the scale. So the vise got bigger, they had to go longer. That challenge for Wicked Edge, making all those different sizes, meant that they had to manufacture different parts for different things. So it was to their advantage to try to unify everything. And that's what they did with the Wii 60 series, is that they have the Wii 60 and the Wii 64 and the Wii 66. And what they're supposed to be is stepping stones and an upgradable base. And you can see that from the 60 to the 64 that you just changed the vise. And the 66 is with the better adjusters. But still brought that problem that the base is only as big as it can be. So you're limited that if you raise the vise up to spread that scale to get better utilizability of the precision. Not to beat it to death, but when the vise is short, the scale is tight. When the vise gets taller, we spread the scale out. When the scale gets wider, then it's easier to work within that precision. So you guys working with those great big TS Profs with the long guide rods, that's the same thing that I'm doing, but I'm just doing it twice. I'm doing it in such a way because of the central vise that I have to extend everything and work everything on both sides the same way. That size advantage, when Wicked Edge discontinued the square bar models, that went away. What this is the most functional, manually controlled, dial it in, full access to everything that Wicked Edge made. And even with their Gen 4 Pro, which is a bigger vise on a riser and a bigger scale, it doesn't match this because being that this is separate and the height is separate, they can be considered different. This can only go out so wide. You're limited by how high you want to go because you can't As you go taller, you have to come out wider to get the same angle. You run out of space. So because of that, the Wicked Edge 100 series with the square bar, which can be made longer, you just get a rod that's longer. It essentially becomes a question of how tall and how wide you want to go. It's the only sharpener that Wicked Edge makes that can be expanded for that. Why do we want to do that? Let's talk the next time.